night. I'm Rhonda Dracoulis with RK3 Designs, and we're live. Is anybody exhausted from the 3-day weekend like I am? It has been a great weekend. But if any of you guys own your own business, online business, storefront, and you ran any kind of a Labor Day special, today was a killer if you had to ship products. Let me tell you. Whew. So it's been a day. I don't know if Leslie's watching or not, but Leslie busted her bottom today sending out all of the orders. We got everything but about 6 orders out, and then our ShipStation program crashed. So sorry, you last 6 people, you will get yours out first thing in the morning. So there was nothing we can do about it. My point being, it's been a day. So grab yourself a cold one. Enjoy. It's going to be a very, very simple finish tonight, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Uh-oh, my husband's moving my camera on me. All right, so what we're going to do tonight. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Hey, stop.
It's not what I was planning on.
It's going to be a long day. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to create a finish where we use spray paint, and we're going to create a finish first before we ever put the epoxy on there. Then we're going to add our epoxy, and we're going to do some more pretty things. So it's going to look really ugly before it looks really pretty. So grab yourself some spray cans if you want to join along with us. Any kind of color you want. That's what I love, love, love about this finish. And actually, Kenny, now that you've got your camera all set up exactly where you want it, why don't you turn it around?
What the hell?
Turn it around and show the piece up there that we're going to do tonight. So this is actually a piece that we did a while back. It was an actual sample board that we did. Then we did one live. So it's a granification piece, lots of depth. And what is so cool about that is it's very easy to create, and you can use any colors that you want, any color combination. You can use acrylic paint, you can use spray paint, you can use all kind of things to just give you that background color. And then once you add your, you are getting a trip around our shop. Once you put your color down and you create your background, then we're going to put our epoxy, and we're going to do a few other things on top of that. So let's get started. All right. So first of all, you're going to start off with a little grocery bag. Okay. I know in some states, y'all, these are hard to come by. You actually have to purchase them, but they really work the best. Don't try to use the plastic that you use on the tables. It's too thick, and you really won't get a pretty finish. If you're using acrylic paint, you can use a sea sponge. Don't use a sea sponge if you're using spray paint, because it will straight up eat your sponge. So these work great. If you do use the ones that have ink on them, make sure you turn that inside out, because the paint will pull that ink off, and then you'll have that ink on your finish. So what we did to start off with, and you can do this on any surface. You can do it on any kind of substrate you want to do. So what we've done is we've taken a piece of a countertop that our students built in class. It has a rock edge. Now I will tell you, and you will see later on, why a rock edge really looks good on this finish, but you can most definitely do it on a smooth edge. But if I have my preference, I love to do this on a rock edge. We have painted it with white undercoat, and you can use a darker color as well. You could use any color that you want as your base color. Just make sure that your spray paints are a contrast, because that's going to be your background noise, if you will. Now, you'll see later on, after we get to the granification, we'll talk a little bit about what colors that you can use there as well. But right now, well, let's get started. Okay, so I have an array of colors. You can use one color, you can use 47 colors. It's up to you. I like to start with my light colors first. And guys, I'm going to try this, and if you cannot hear, I need you to let me know. I don't know what to do with it.
What did you do with it?
I'm going to put a mask on because my lungs don't need any more spray paint in them than they already have. So if y'all can't hear me.
You're already dying anyway.
Oh, you hush. All right, you hush. I know. I feel like I'm 117.
Wait, what did you say?
Huh? You can't hear me?
What?
Shut.
Huh?
Stop.
Hello? Can you speak up?
I'm going to kill him before the day's over. All right. So, let me know. Give me a thumbs up.
They can't hear you.
Yes, they can. Okay. I may not wear this very long because I can't breathe.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So, okay, here we go.
So what good is it going to do?
I don't know. I may take it off here in a minute. So, all right. So what we do is we take our bag. All right. I know this sounds silly, but bear with me. Instead of just crunching it up and making it flat, that's not what you want to do. You want to have texture. So I like to take my finger and just push it in. Well, heck, here we go. Push it in and hold it and make almost like a little rose.
That does not look like a
rose. That
rose.
looks like a rose. You don't ever buy me roses. What are you talking about?
Whatever. That does not look like a rose. I don't know what kind of rose you're smoking, but.
That looks like a rose. Okay. Then take your paint, and don't do this. Don't spray from back here.
Yeah.
Okay? Come in here and spray right on your bag. Okay? That's going to just help everybody. Then you're just going to start tapping.
Just tap it in.
Tap, 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 tap. It's going to, like I said, it's going to look ugly before it's going to look pretty. And I'm really not going to think this out because I don't want y'all to have to watch me put 900 layers of paint. And you can adjust your bag, because what you don't want to happen is for your bag to get really flat and not cause little texture. Okay, I'm going to show you what you don't want to do. Can you see this color very good?
Not really. I don't know. That was like the worst color to start with.
Well, I always start with my lighter colors first.
Okay. Well,
okay, so I start with my lighter colors first.
And why is that?
Because it's so much easier to darken a finish than it is to lighten the finish up. That's why. Any more questions? All right, so I'm just going to do a little bit of this color because obviously you guys can't see it. So you need to tell her
You need to tell the colors that you're using.
Okay, this exact color.
Navajo white.
Is Navajo white. It's gloss. Now you can use any sheen on this that you want because you're not putting this into the epoxy. So you can use a flat, you can use gloss, whatever. Now I'm not even going to clean my bag. I'm just going to grab another color. Let's go see if this is any darker.
French beige.
This is Rust-Oleum French beige. Like I said, I'm not going to even change my color. It's not much different. Y'all aren't going to be able to see that much better.
Oh, yeah,
either.
You can see it now.
Little, can you?
Yeah. What are you forgetting about this corner over here?
No.
And just remember, so random.
Yes. So random, y'all. Don't do this. Don't do little patterns. Do very random. And if you guys go and look at real granite, honestly, you may have a slab. I have to redo my rows here. Yeah. You may have a slab that has one end, has one certain color, and you won't see that color anywhere else in the stone. So go study.
Study it, huh?
Yeah, study your slabs. All right, I'm gonna get some really darker colors. Now you'll be able to start seeing. Let's do this.
Next color is?
Oh, this is leather brown. And like I said, this is only background noise. You can use any color. You can do all grays, which is really pretty. If you want a lighter color finish, really pretty to do that. Can't even shake this good enough.
I did. That was your can.
Oh, is it my can?
Yeah, that was the one you shook.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to come in a little darker. And you can be selective even where you put it. You can just kind of put it in a random pattern all over. Or you can bring in a vein if you want.
How do you put a vein with
You do it in a line.
Oh, okay. That's a great vein. That's all. I just want to say that's how I thought a vein would look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's going to be ugly before it's pretty. Now, this is what I also don't want you to do, and I'll show you how to fix it. I don't want you to go in one spot and hit
it. Are you mad at that piece or what?
Don't do that.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, it could be a happy accident.
Well, I'm going to show you how to fix it. But if you do, don't panic. Don't try to wipe it off.
Wipe it.
Leave it alone, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. And any little drips that you may get, that's okay. Because all of this, again, is background noise. I'm going to come around the front.
You're doing a pretty decent
Am I getting
job.
the edges?
Yeah, you got a few over here, but...
Okay.
But for the most part, you're... Oh, wow, you totally missed it.
Did I totally miss it up? Oh, well. All right. That's good enough. So you want to do about 80% of your substrate covered with some sort of a color. Mm-hmm. All right.
Goofball, the color.
Oh, the color is espresso. Satin. This is a satin. Ooh, this is pretty. Ooh, yeah, look at that.
That looks just like the last color.
It does. Are you smoking crack? Look, it does not. Look.
From over here, it does.
Well, it's not. It is not the same color. It is really pretty.
You guys, tell her on the video that it looks like the same color.
Don't y'all do it. You say on that video, it looks so different.
It does not look so different.
Well, in real life, it does.
It does not.
Yes, it does. Let me see what it looks like on your forehead. Come
Yeah.
here. All right. Now, this is definitely going to be different. This is dark taupe. Now, you see, guys, I'm using the same bag. And actually, as the bag starts to get a lot of paint on it, it almost gives it better texture because it kind of stays.
Okay, this is definitely a different color.
All right. So now, are you happy?
Well, you know.
All right. And I'm just starting to fill in all of my white space.
And what color is this?
This is dark taupe. Now, I use dark taupe a lot, even when I'm doing a gray finish, because the dark taupe really does look good with a darker gray. And I'm actually going to bring in a gray right now called Stone Gray. Now, I did this piece, I did this exact finish.
They want you to fix the blob.
I'm going to, but it has to dry first. And it has to be the last thing I do. Hey, I'm glad y'all are paying attention.
They can't stand it. I would put a big blob on there. Just leave it.
No. All right, so see, as I start adding this stone gray, it's a very neutral color. So the house that we did this for, one of the first houses that we did this exact color combo for, was for a really rustic house. And they had rough cut cabinets with
They weren't rough cut
the
cabinets.
The bathrooms were. Yeah, it was.
They were just pine. It wasn't rough cut. Rough cut means that it's a rough edge.
Okay, you were at a different house.
No, I wasn't
Yeah.
on. Why would you have rough cut cabinets?
They were.
They were not.
Okay, it had old tin on there.
Yes, they did have old tin, but
Okay.
it didn't. It was not rough cut wood.
Okay, so as soon as this live is over, Kenny may not be with us next week. Just
Thank God. Please take me now.
So anyway, I took the colors out of the old rusty tin, and we kind of pulled it in to the colors on the top. Okay, that's gonna be good. That's good enough.
Okay.
All right. Oops, wrong top. All right, now let's fix the blob. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of the bag. It's super important that you do this with a clean bag. Now you're gonna take the color of whatever your substrate, your background color was.
So you're going with white is what you're saying.
I'm gonna go with white.
Okay.
But if you had black, you'd be going with black.
Is that inside out?
It is not inside out.
Man, what a catch. We almost had red.
That was
Guys.
intentional.
No, it was not. They couldn't see it. I should have let you.
That would have been a design element.
Oh, yeah? It would have
Yeah.
just been something.
It would have been intentional. Okay, so here we go. Got my white. That's not spraying. There we go. Now we're going to hide it.
Great white.
Yeah.
Not the shark.
Okay, guys, I'm going to give you a pro tip.
What is it?
When you buy your white or your paint, write the date like I did not do on this can.
Yeah. Do as you say.
Write the date that you bought your spray paint. And Home Depot will refund you or replace. It must be the can. Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow.
They will replace up to 90 days. Now, you may have to do a little convincing, but it is in.
Are you saying it's in their handbook?
It's in their handbook. All right, so, hey, will you grab me another can of white?
No, I like seeing you struggle.
All right, so I'm going to take that white and I'm going to tap, and that's going to remove, except y'all can't see it because Kenny doesn't have the camera showing down on it. I do sell replacement caps on my website for the Rust-Oleum. Hold on a minute. He's shaking the can, sorry.
Sorry for all the noise.
Okay, now we have a can that works. All right. Works. Now, come back over and you can hide your blob. You can also, any area that you may think you have too much of one color, you can dab, and that's going to kind of level it all back out. Okay, all of that for that little dab right there. All right, so then
So what do y'all think about that?
Oh, yes. It looks like an 80s sponge paint wall. Remember those days? Now, another thing that I like to do
I don't remember those days, Rhonda. I'm too old for that.
Another thing that I like to do that makes it look a little more realistic, because, guys, what we're doing is just building layer upon layer of interest. So you can, you can do it with any color. I'm going to do it with a little bit of black. You can come up and you can very lightly maybe fog in one area. And I mean very...
Good thing the AC's on because it's just blowing everywhere.
Is it?
Yeah.
Don't do it with your AC on. But you can see, kind of maybe show down here, Kenny. If you want to darken a little bit of one area, and I mean like very lightly, just barely hit it, and all you're doing is creating almost shadows. And what that's doing is giving it depth. And like I said, you can do it with any color that you want to. Now, another thing I love about this finish is that you can come in and add accent colors very random. I'm going to come in with, this
Mint.
is mint.
Isn't it?
It is
Light Lagoon.
light turquoise. Light turquoise. And you can kind of just put just light colors every so often. You don't have to put a lot. Don't go crazy. Remember, it's just a little bit of random color. Then you can also, let's say you have gold drawer pulls or silver. I can never get this top off this can. You can come in with metallics. This is definitely when you can use metallics. But again, you're going to be very random and very light with
You can't even see it.
your accent. Well, I'm not going to do the whole top gold. Now, this would be a beautiful finish if you did this in a black background and then you just did this with gold over the whole piece and then do the next step that we're fixing to do. All right. I have colors on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's call it a day for that. Now,
What are you going to do?
take this darn thing off. All right, so let's also create some more depth. Now, they have these sprays at Home Depot. They're the Stone spray. It's actually a textured spray. If you feel the cap, it feels like texture. You can add that as well. Now, I'm only going to add it to one little area because if you use the Stone spray, you need to let it completely dry a couple of hours before you put the epoxy, or it will run, and you're going to see that tonight, what it's going to do. I'm going to try to be real careful, but it's probably going to run. But
Where's it running to?
I'm going to knock you out.
I'm just wondering.
Far away. All right, so let me show this right here. So the Stone spray really does look like little textured stone. And it looks like it would be pebbly, but it's just a paint. So it dries as a texture, but when it's wet, there's no texture there. So that's why it's super important to make sure you let that dry. All right, so I'm just going to come over a little bit. And I'm just barely hitting it. See how it's creating that granite look? You can come over with white. There's so many colors.
Hey, make sure you spray that in the right direction. You're getting that on me.
On you. That was on purpose. So you can see how now I've really created some more texture here. See that? Now, honestly, I would wait and do my gold after I did the Stone spray. After it was completely dry, I would then come back and do my gold accents. Now, I love to do this. This is another element. If you're sitting down at the coffee table or at the bar and you're just looking down into the piece, you're going to start picking up all of these little random things that you put down. This is our Montana marble spray. I call it our grown-up silly string. And you have to kind of guess where it's going to go because
you can guide it.
It's not very easily. You can't. But you need to make sure you come up high.
How high is that?
It's about this high. So
you're saying like 4 foot high off?
About that far. So you want to just, it almost like you throw it. And it creates some really cool random veins. Now you can get crazy with this, okay? You don't want to get too much. It also comes in white. Now, why would you put white over a white background? Because believe it or not, you will actually see it. but it'll be very faint.
Hold on, before you spread, let's.
So it just gives one more layer of interest. Same thing with your white. You'll kind of lay over. Now, I don't know if the camera is going to pick up the white.
We're seeing it fall.
Okay. But like I said, if you're hanging out, sitting down at the bar, and you happen to look down, you'll see it. And if you did it darker, if you use more darker colors, obviously you would see the white a lot better. All right, now, one last thing that you can do, and I suggest that you guys do it while the spray paint's wet, so it's tacky, is come and get we have the large mica flakes, okay? We have all kind of colors. And then just kind of do pockets. What are you looking at?
Your glove.
What's wrong? Oh, I busted my glove. Just kind of do pockets. Are you showing this?
Yeah.
Well, you can see that. Looks like the camera's looking right at me.
Well, it is at you, so it's not it's on your hand.
So I just like to put little, kind of sporadically put those pieces down. All right, and then kind of just tap them a little bit so that that tacky paint will help them to stay and not move when you put your flood coat or your first clear coat. And we have a ton. I guess gold wasn't really the best thing because you really can't see the gold. But we have all kinds of the glitter. I mean, of the mica flakes that you can put in there. All we're doing is creating interest and creating depth and creating layers. All right. So you're going to want to let that dry thoroughly before you mix, before you pour your epoxy. So I already have part B in my cup. I'm going to get a new glove because my glove just had a flat. Whoop. Well, look at this one. This one had a flat. I didn't even use it. I tell you what. They just don't make things like they used to. And my hands are sweaty. Y'all went to the gym? Well, because y'all know I hurt my leg. I tore my thut. Anybody know what a thut is? Well,
Why?
I tore my thut, y'all. It is right where your butt and your thigh meet. Right there. Right there. I tore it in 2 places. Off the bone. So, I'm having to go take it very easily. But the doctor told me last week that I needed to start stretching. So, I went to the gym with Kenny yesterday. And I stretched a little too much. I thought I was Stretch Armstrong. And I'm so sore, I can hardly move. All right, so I'm doing 3 ounces per square foot.
That's so squirreled.
Well,
Watch out, Ron. It's catching you.
Watch out. So normally I would mix this with a paddle, but I didn't want to have to bring the paddle in here and plug it in and all the things. So I'm just going to hand do it. Do you guys have any questions? I want to say thank y'all so much for every single person out there that ordered with us over the Labor Day holiday sale we had. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But we still, guys, even though we're not running the Labor Day special, we still every day offer free shipping on all orders over $100. And we do same day shipping as long as you order before noon. If you order after noon, Texas time, Central time, it'll go out first thing in the morning the next day. So we have super fast shipping, and we have a whole new e-commerce website. So things are really looking up. You can search colors now. Now we still have a few glitches because it's brand new. So if you guys are on the site and you see a glitch, please, please, please email me and let me know what that glitch is, because that's the only way that we really know what the issue is if you guys let us know. Okay, so we're going to pretend this was 2 minutes because my arm's tired.
No.
Right. What?
No.
What do you mean no? You're not the boss of me. Y'all, I'm telling y'all,
What are you telling them?
you're a pain in the butt today.
Mm.
How about that?
Not as much as your thought.
My thut? He's a pain in my thut, y'all. He's a pain in my thut. How about that? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
You still have 1 more minute.
No, I don't. We're good. Look. I'm a really good.
I still see
Look,
squirrely marks in there.
I'm gonna scroll your mark. All right. Here we go. Now, scrape your edges when you're stirring. I know that's very controversial.
What are you
That was a big word. Some people say take it out, pour it into another bucket. I'm telling you, all that does is waste your material.
Yeah,
if you will scrape your bucket, scrape the bottom, and then stir it again, and scrape and stir, you're going to be fine. I have never in my entire career had a sticky countertop. By doing that, scraping and stirring, you're taking all that material that was stuck to the side of the bucket, you're taking it and you're mixing it back into the epoxy, so you don't have any unmixed epoxy. All right, here we go.
Oh, well, that was fast.
Did you see how fast that was? Now when you scrape your edges, you want to make sure that that epoxy goes into the big area of epoxy. Don't scrape your bucket and let it.
To the area?
To the big.
Of the circumference of, so the
Kenny,
pie?
I'm telling you.
That?
You are on thin ice, boy. All right. I like to torch it out just a little bit first. Kind of gets those little small air bubbles out. And of course, you guys, I don't use a trowel unless it's a really large area. I just use my hand. I kind of cut my hand and I move it over here. Now I'm going to try to be really careful over here because that stone spray.
That'll be good.
No, I don't want it to smear.
Smear, huh?
I don't want to smear it. I don't want to muter it.
Ew, smear.
We can't
going this
muter. So, 3 ounces per square foot is plenty of material. You don't tape your edges. Guys, that is a huge topic, is taping your edges. We never tape our edges unless we're using upwards of 5 or 6 ounces per square foot. If you
you could if you wanted to.
But
But
it won't flow over the edge.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good idea.
Exactly. So we don't tape our edges unless.
And make sure you get all the edges.
Yeah, so if you have a rock edge.
Corner right here.
If you have a rock edge, make sure you take your hand.
And go underneath it.
Yep, and also in all those little areas. All right.
The nooks and crannies.
The nooks and crannies. Okay, now if we were not live, I would let this sit about 15 or 20 minutes before I do what I'm fixing to do. And the reason I would do that is I want my epoxy.
Because of the movement?
To
start,
is that
what it is?
Yeah, to start setting up a little bit. Because I want it to kind of slow down in its movement, especially if it's really warm. When you first lay it out, it's going to be very fluid and it's going to want to really move a lot. So I'm going to torch very lightly.
That's a great technique.
You like that technique?
Yeah, that was nice.
That was nice. You like that, huh? Is that Kenny approved?
Not yet, but
All right.
we'll let it pass because it's alive. They say you got epoxy on your shirt. Yep.
Where? Oh, right there. Yeah, well.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. By the time I throw them away, they almost stand up straight by themselves. So.
Kind of like starch jeans.
Kind of like starch jeans. Okay. So, now, with spray paint, with this technique, it does cause a lot of surface tension. All right, so Kenny, come show them what the surface tension looks like. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but see where that little area is right here? It's like the circle didn't close. I don't know if you guys can see that. But it looks like a little divot where the epoxy's trying to close, but then it didn't close.
If you can't see it.
Okay, well, if you see these, all you do is tap them, and then that's going to break that surface tension, and that epoxy is going to go ahead and close up that circle. Now, if something happens and you miss surface tension, and then you don't notice it until the epoxy has cured, don't worry, because your flood coat will fill it all in. All right, you ready? Here we go, comes the fun part. All right, I'm gonna put my mask back on. Okay, now this I'm gonna tell you guys, you need to practice this because this does take a little bit of practice to get the technique down really well. Also, when I'm doing this, black gloss, in my opinion,
you can leave your mask on,
works the best. I can't breathe. The black gloss works the best. You can use other colors, but I'm telling you, you need to practice with that color first, because every single color is going to fracture differently. Satins are gonna fracture different than gloss. Lighter colors fracture completely different than really dark colors. My favorite is black. You can most definitely use another color. Now, I don't recommend using a metallic. Metallics have a tendency to sit on the surface a little more, and a lot of times, because they sit on the surface, they take away from all of your colors that are underneath. So again, I have people use metallics, then they'll call me and they're like, I hate it, what do I do? I'm like, well, do a practice board first, make sure you like it before you do it on your actual piece. All right, so when I do it, I'm not gonna do a piece much bigger at one time than this, and this is about 3.5 feet. So if I have an 8-foot countertop, I'm not gonna go hit the whole countertop with spray paint, then come back with my alcohol. Because what happens is as the spray paint sits on the surface, it's starting to dry. And if it sits very long, it's gonna dry and it's not gonna fracture. So have everything ready when you get ready to spray so that you can immediately spray. A really good tip is, if you do have a big area, is have someone with the spray paint followed by somebody with the alcohol. Now tonight I'm going to use just plain isopropyl alcohol, but you can use the isopropyl alcohol that has the micas mixed in. Just be very careful that you don't use too much, because it, again, will take over your finish and it will be the focal point instead of all the color underneath being the focal point. All right, so I know I told you I can do the whole thing, but I'm gonna do sections because I wanna show you guys how to blend your sections together, okay? All right, so here we go.
Where's your alcohol?
Right here. Sir.
Have it ready.
It's ready to go. All right, here we go. So I like to do different variations of my opacity on the top. So I'll come and some will be dark and some I'll just kind of skim over the top. Now we'll talk about our edges here in just a minute. Do this in a well-ventilated area, guys. Now, I'm going to have Kenny really quickly go over the top so that you can see before I hit it with alcohol. You can see how some of the area is very opaque. You really can't see through it. And some you can see the substrate. All right. So now, get your alcohol. Put it in your hand. You're going to close. Now, Erica is a pro at this.
Yeah.
I can see her face right now,
Yes,
what she's doing. She goes
definitely
like this when Erica does it. So, I don't need it now. So you're going to put it in your hand, and then you're not going to just bounce it out. You're going to kind of open your fingers. And you're going to do all over, and you're going to do the big spots, and you kind of open your fingers. Now that I have my big areas, then I come back and I squirt again, and then I use my hand to flick the small areas. All right, now this is the most important. You cannot judge this right now. You have to leave it alone for a good 3 to 5 minutes so that you can see how this is all going to layer out. Because if I come back immediately and say, ooh, I don't like this part, or I don't like this part, or I don't like this part, and I start adding spray paint or adding more alcohol, you're going to get way too much alcohol or way too much spray paint on your surface, and it's going to mess it up. So let it have time to do its thing. All right, so now let's show you how we join the two together. Now, if this were a big, long countertop and I had to stop and then I was working, I know because I dropped the alcohol, I know I probably have alcohol on this clear that has not evaporated yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at another section and I'm going to move into this. All right, so I'm going to start at this end and I'm going to do the same thing. And then I would leave a spot, come back. And the reason I'm intentionally leaving a spot because I want to show y'all a couple of other things. Big drops first, Italian drip. Big drops for, oop, oop. And then drip with my fingers. All right, now if you don't want the larger cells, then you can just do this and get tiny little cells. The problem with that is that a lot of time those little cells will close back up and then you just have basically black on top. All right, so we're going to let that sit. Now, I want to show you guys how to fix mistakes. Let's say we come in here and we put way too much spray paint, okay? I just busted my glove again. All right, so right here I'm going to put super opaque, and I've had people call me and say, I couldn't get my spray paint to fracture. So I'll show you what happened. Now I put a lot of spray paint. Now look what happens. I can cause it to fracture, but what's going to happen is that's going to close back up. And pretty soon I won't have much at all because it's just closes, all of this closes back up. So what you can do is you can come in and take your paper towel.
And make it like a blobby rose.
Make it like a blobby rose. Actually, the blue shop towels work the best with this, but this is all I have. So what you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to tap it and you're going to pull that paint off. But you can't go back in with a dirty paper towel. So you're going to have to, each time you tap, you're going to have to turn your paper towel. And you can pull it off. All right. So you can tap it off. Now, the thing is, you can't do this more than, say, once or so, because what will happen is you're not only pulling that paint off, you're pulling epoxy off as well. So if you do this too many times, you're not going to have enough product on the surface to cause a reaction. Now, I've actually done a whole countertop like this on purpose because I like the way it looks. All right, so once you pull that off, then you can hit it with the alcohol and fracture it, and it'll fracture. So you see that? So even if you have one area that maybe is too thick, you can just blob that one area. So now what happens if you end up having a cell like this one right here that's really big? What do you do then? If you don't want that big of a cell, you can spot fix it. But you have to make sure that you allow the alcohol that you sprayed on there.
You have epoxy all over your face.
I have epoxy all over my face. Oh, well. You have to make sure that you allow the alcohol to dissipate before you come back with spray paint. So I'm going to randomly fix this area here. Okay? Come back. Now, you don't want to do the Italian drip. You want to do just your fingertips. And now you fix that area. My gloves have had it. These are, I don't know where we got these gloves from, but they're terrible. Oh, they're horrible this time. All right. Okay, so let's finish up this. So now we've got this area. So I'm just going to kind of, and the reason I like to kind of bleed it in is I'm not going to start spraying right next to that line. I'm going to start over here in my area that's open, and I'm going to just kind of bleed it in, overlap just a little bit. And then join it. Now it doesn't work as well unless you have gloves on, but my gloves. Okay. Now
you could spritz it real fast too.
Now if you use it, you don't want to use your fingers and you want to use the spray bottle to get fine mist. Set your sprayer to fine and don't squeeze the trigger hard. Don't do that, okay? You want to just barely squeeze to where it's just little spits coming out. So I'm going to fix this little area. There. All right. Now, things that you have to really be careful with doing this type of a finish is you can very easily get too much alcohol on your surface and it'll look amazing, and then the next morning you're going to come out and it's going to look very blurry. Because what's happened is you supersaturate your epoxy surface with too much alcohol, and the alcohol cannot evaporate fast enough, and it really causes the epoxy to run. Now, I'm going to put a glove on. I'm going to show you guys that front edge really quickly. Okay. So there's a couple of ways I address my edges. If you have a real textured edge, honestly, I like this look right here. Okay, I like the look that it's coming down and it's kind of rolling over. I really like that. Now, if that were a smooth edge, I can tell you I wouldn't like that. So what I do on my smooth edges is I allow it to kind of run, and then when my epoxy is tacky, a little tackier than tape. I'll come with, now I'm going to do it now, but know that it's not going to stay. Let me grab my alcohol really quickly. So what I'll do is come back when my surface has become tacky, and I'm going to very lightly, there's two ways to do it. I'm going to very lightly hit it with my spray paint, and then I'm going to take my alcohol. Now, if it were tacky, that would stay. It would stay like that. Right now, obviously, my epoxy's fluid and it's going to run, okay? Or there's another way you can do it as well. Let your epoxy completely dry, even if you have areas like this, okay? Let it dry and then come back with a paper towel or a shop towel, however you want to do it, and either spray and then tap to create that faux edge, okay? Now that's going to run because it's still fluid. Or, like I said, if you were, actually I said that wrong. You do want to do this if it's tacky, okay? This way, spray it and then tap it off. If it's 100% dry, then you're going to come in with your plastic bag. If it's 100% dry, you're going to come in with your plastic bag and you're going to tap your edge and you're going to kind of faux finish it to match your top. So that's how you would do a smooth edge. Now, I like the rough edge. I like how it starts to run over like the first part. I've got it a little dark here because I added some spray paint. So if that were to happen and I noticed my edges were a little dark, I could come right now and I could pull some of that off. But as I pull it off, I need to change my cloth so I'm not just making mud by tapping it with a dirty paper towel. So I'll kind of pull it off. There, make a better edge. But I love this edge right here. I love that flow over a rock edge. I think that's really pretty. So I hope that made sense, y'all. Do y'all have any questions? Let me know. I know Keith, I believe Keith has done this finish. I'm almost 100% positive that Alan has done this finish.
Clara.
So Clara has done this finish.
Erica.
So they should all know how to answer those questions. But you can see how all of that ugly color that was in the back is now just background noise. And you can make the black as predominant or just a small amount. If you don't want a lot of that black to play into your finish, you want to see more of that color in the background, don't put quite as much black spray paint, or make your drops bigger, because bigger drops will eventually cause your fracturing lines to be few and far between, so it's not so dark on your surface. And like I said, guys, you need to practice this. This is something that takes a little bit of practice to know exactly how much alcohol to use, and I'm 100% convinced that this is affected by your mood because I have come in and just not got a really pretty top. I haven't been happy with it. I walk away, take a deep breath, come back, do another piece, and it turns out amazing. So it's just something that you really do need to learn. Now, you can come over the top of this with the marble spray. The thing is, because it's wet and it's fluid, sometimes it'll leave like little bubbles in the top, which that's okay because you still need to flood this, okay? Because one, you've got spray paint sitting on the surface. So it's not, one, food safe, It's not scratch resistant because if you slide something across this, it's going to scratch the paint that's sitting on top of the epoxy. Also, some of the little mica flakes, like right here, one of the little mica flakes that we laid down is kind of laying at an angle. So when this cures, there's going to be a bump there. And that's fine. It's no big deal because your flood coat's going to cover all that up. Now, let's talk flood coats on this sort of a finish. You don't want to come in here and sand this aggressively with sandpaper because the spray paint has now dried when it's cured. It is now basically sitting on top of your epoxy. And if you come in here with 220 and an orbital sander and you are gonna, you're gonna sand it all to get ready for your flood coat, you're gonna take a lot of this off, especially your Montana marble spray. So what you want to do is this is going to be one of those finishes where at about 10 to 12 hours, depending on your temperature and your humidity, you need to just do some practice boards to see where that line is. As soon as this surface gets to be like blue tacky tape, it feels like the backside of tacky tape or tape. You can touch it, it's tacky, but when you take your finger off, your finger comes off clean and you don't leave a deep indentation and it doesn't pull off a string, okay? So here at our house at about 10 to 12 hours, we're at that stage. Still a little bit tacky. Now we can pour a flood coat. We don't have to sand because now instead of creating a mechanical bond, which is what we create when we sand the surface and then pour a flood coat, we're creating a mechanical bond. Now we're creating a chemical bond between the two layers of epoxy. So this is an ideal design to do that. Now what happens if you miss that window, you fall asleep on the couch, and your alarm doesn't go off and you miss that? I mean, ask me how I know that. Then you've got to deal with, what do I do? How do I create that bond? Couple of ways. One, you can spray it with clear spray paint matte. It has to be matte because the gloss has too much alcohol. You could do a very light spray paint over that, and that's going to kind of etch your surface. And then when you let that dry, then when you pour your flood coat, it's going to have a good bond. Or you can lightly sand it, very lightly with 220. Yes, you will get a little bit of that paint up, but just be very, very soft when you're sanding. The next way is to very lightly rub it with a little bit of alcohol. You cannot rub a lot because you will take your spray paint off. But if you rub it with a little bit of alcohol, it'll kind of reactivate everything, get it tacky a little bit, and then you can re-pour your flood coat. So there's 3 different ways. I prefer to flood it at about 10 or 12 hours because then I know for sure I'm getting that good chemical bond. All right, so then, in my opinion, this finish looks amazing with a matte UTC application because it straight up makes it look like a real piece of granite. If I were to walk into a kitchen and it had a super high gloss, I would know immediately that that was not a real piece of granite. But with that matte UTC, because I've done it multiple times in houses, I've had customers have to go over and touch it to make sure that it wasn't a real piece of granite. So this is one of those finishes where the matte UTC looks amazing on this. And speaking of UTC, I spoke with the manufacturer actually today. I spoke with them Friday and then again today. The matte UTC, the issues have been identified and they have been corrected. They thought they were going to start bottling on Friday, but they actually started bottling today. And so they will be bottling and sending that out to me ASAP. I've already got my order ready to go. They're going to pack it up and send it to me. I cannot tell you what the time frame is going to be exactly, nor when they're going to have it available on the Stone Coat's website. I will tell you though, if you did not buy the UTC from me and you had an issue, you need to call customer service at Stone Coat and tell them the issue that you're having with the UTC. It was too thin or it had the grit. That was the issue that we were having. So let them know. If they don't get back to you, or if something happens and you fall through the crack, call me, email me, and I will take care of you. I will do my best to get you a refund or get you a replacement product. If you bought it from me, I have to have your order number or your date when you ordered it, and it has to be in an email. Guys, don't text me, don't Facebook me, email me, because I'm keeping a log so that I can then make sure you're reimbursed and then I'm reimbursed from Stone Coat. So make sure you do that. Okay, what y'all think? I love this finish. This is such a fun finish. Kenny, why don't you do one more flyover and they can see kind of how it's moved. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call at our shop. We love to talk to you guys, and you're welcome to email me at Rhonda at RK3 Designs. Those of you, I have not forgot about you, challenge winners. I have not forgot about you. We just have no product. We ran out of product, and Stone Coat is shipping us some product. And so as soon as we get that product out, we will be shipping out your stuff. If you won first, second, or third, you need to get in contact with me because I'm going to give you a credit on our website. Also, if you have not emailed me, I need your shirt size. We just ordered another 250 shirts. I'm hoping they'll be in the end of this week and we'll be able to get all of that out. So if you have not emailed me and you entered, you didn't have to win, but you entered the summer challenge, make sure you email me at Rhonda at RK3 Designs so that I can get your prizes out to you, okay? Let's see. I think we have 4 spots left maybe in our pro class in October, and then the rest of the year is booked. We will be putting out our our 2024 schedule probably into September, mid-September, into September. We'll have all of that figured out. We've got Australia trip planned, so we got to kind of work around that. And I guess that's it. Sweetheart, love of my life, do you have any announcements to make?
I don't have anything.
Okay, guys, we are doing a cool video. It'll be out in maybe a couple of weeks, and it's I've never seen it done. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to do the video.
Such a great idea.
It was a great idea, and it was my husband's great idea, and it's going to be so cool. We're doing it for a fundraiser, and it's going to be epic, so I cannot wait for y'all to see it. Okay, I guess that's it.
So can I do my flyover now?
Yes, do your flyover now.
Okay.
You have my permission.
I'm glad, because they're probably waiting.
Probably. So you can see that the white marble spray has kind of sunk down, and all of those little bubbles have dissipated. One thing I forgot to tell you guys, and you noticed, I do not torch this after I do my spray paint on the surface. If you torch this, it's going to cause your epoxy to get fluid again, and you're going to lose all of your fracturing. So you do not want to hit with heat. So give me a thumbs up, guys, if you like this. Give me some ideas of what colors you would use in this. I think it turned out really pretty. So this is definitely, we'll get a flood coat on it. and a matte finish. All right. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. I looked forward to this all day because it's been a rough day. But thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. I will see you. Oh, is it next Tuesday? Is next Tuesday. We have our pro class next week. So next Tuesday, guys, we're going to have some power hitters here to do a live. It's going to be epic. So we will see you next Tuesday. All right, until next week, guys, remember, don't be scared. Move forward and be creative. Love y'all.
Adios.